back to the channel. The footage you're about to see is already several weeks old at this point, but after bringing home the newborn, I had very little time for basic maintenance and upkeep in the garden, and so things got completely out of control. I have the day off of work and the weather is beautiful, so I'm going to be able to spend several hours doing cleanup and some much needed weeding in the beds. I start out by using the hedge trimmers to open up the pathway leading to the garden gate. It's important for me to keep this path clear so that I can continue to have access with the tractor. Everything that I cut down is collected and put into the compost. And this is what the garden looks like. Yep, it's pretty bad. I finally get around to doing some cleanup and removing a lot of these pots and grow bags, which had just been sitting against the fence and getting overgrown with weeds. Eventually the hope is to have a garden shed that can store all of this stuff, but for now it's going to the basement. Having to deal with all these weeds and grasses in the walkway is a consequence of not putting down any sort of fabric to suppress it when building the garden. This was a conscious decision at the time. I'm still planning on doing some sheet mulching with old cardboard boxes that I've been saving and then adding gravel on top. It's important to me throughout this process to try to bring in as few external materials as possible and try to be thrifty and use things that I have already available. I also finally break down the sugar snap peas because it's way too hot and past the point of them producing any fruit. I also have a bunch of weeds sprouting up in the greenhouse, and even though they're mostly clumping grasses and relatively easy to remove, this was stupid in hindsight because I definitely should have put something down prior to adding the gravel. This garden bed just has dirt from the planting holes of the trees down in the orchard. Once again, trying to stick with the theme of use what you have. I'm going to have to do quite a bit of amending with compost to turn this into proper garden soil, but I'm not in a hurry. There's still another mound of soil down in the orchard. I carefully removed the top layers, which now have a bunch of growth in it, and tried to grab a couple of clean buckets full in order to finally backfill the trench that we made when burying the wire fence in the garden. and after some raking to at least try to get things close to level, I start putting down some old saved up cardboard boxes that I've removed all the packaging tape from. This should serve as a layer to block the weeds from sprouting through before I'm going to top it off with some gravel. And despite letting things get out of control and completely overgrown, many crops still did really well. All in all, it was a good year for the garden, even though I wasn't able to do quite as much as I initially hoped because I was still continuing to build the garden while the planting season had already started. As always, thanks for watching, and see you next time.